Okay. Another way to come at the Ukraine question is through NATO. You talked about the minimum, spending requirements and commitments. That was a theme for President Trump, candidate Trump, President Trump. Is that going to again come to the fore, do you think, where NATO allies, a lot of them have now reached that level? Is that maybe something he's going to bang on again?
Well, look, they're all not there on their 2%, and as we've always said, 2% is the floor, not the ceiling. And I think we could get into. I'm going to get myself into trouble here, but we could get into the claim that the Germans are paying 2%. I don't believe that they are. If you look at those numbers, spending on climate change is not part of your defense. There's a whole bunch of things in there that are not legitimately spent. And even though NATO said, oh, yes, we can kind of see a way that this is going to be bent into your spending.
You think it's fudged?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, look, I know it's fudged because I sat and listened to Merkel, and she said it's impossible for us to do it until 2030. And then all of a sudden with Joe Biden, it was just like, oh, we've achieved it in 2024. It's like, really? Because Merkel was telling us that it was going to take another 6 years. And the socialists who are in charge suddenly were like, yep, we did it. Here's the numbers. Let's move on. We got the 2%. So I feel like my friends in the press corps in Europe and in Germany need to dig into those numbers. But it's a long answer for your point of, yes, they are increasing their defense spending. Thank God. We have to constantly remind people that the American national debt is $35 trillion. Think about that, $35 trillion. And we've got countries in Europe that keep expanding the NATO tent and saying, let's have this country come in and let's have that country come in. I just don't believe that we should be expanding NATO at all until every single current member, is paying at least 2%. And fully on board with the current threats.
So you think the recent NATO expansion to Scandinavia was a bad idea?
Yes. I would not have let any country, I would have advised the president to say, don't let any country in that expands the umbrella when the current ones are not paying their fair share. Why do that to the American people? Why expand the tent and make the American people pay even more? I think about my mom, who is worked her whole life, small pension, on Social Security, doing great, but she's not wealthy. And I have to say, do we need to take more from my mom to allow another country to have the umbrella when I look and all of the things that we're spending on, and I say no. I don't think it's fair.